Hey,
How are you?
I'm cold. My house is cold right now. My office is like 47 degrees this morning when I opened up the door. Been gone for a week and all this freezing cold weather. I opened up the door and I was like, no, got to turn some heat on. So I turned the heat on and left the room for like an hour, let it warm up.
Well, I keep yawning. I'm just like, I keep going. I got too much stuff to do to be tired, but I just keep yawning and yawning. Just, oh, yeah, a little tired.
Yeah, it's a kind of a snowy, gloomy day, but
Yeah,
anyway, it's what it
crazy.
is.
Well, it took me an
But it's
extra day.
Q&A time.
I know. Hopefully, we'll have a few Q's and A's. But if not, we're going to talk about some of the things that we heard and saw at Lindemann U, which is where we were in beautiful, sunny, beachy Puerto Rico.
San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and a lot of people are still down there. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, we
Oh,
can't
really?
go.
People that got stranded?
No, there are people that chose to stay down there, so they're
Oh,
turning it into a vacation. Some people actually travel and enjoy, Carter.
yeah, I forget about those people.
Forget about those people. So let me just ask you. We were there for 3 days. Uh, Tell me what was. Let's just talk a little bit about this. What was your number one takeaway?
Well, there were a lot of good ones. I There were two sessions that from people in our industry. I enjoyed the fact that there were a lot of presenters that aren't from our industry who don't really know our industry that were really inspiring and great stories, things to think about just from a level.
All right. Well, we may. Are you there?
Yeah, my internet is a little spotty at the moment. My apologies.
Yeah, I
I
was
think
gonna say.
everybody's at home watching Netflix today, and our internet is
Yeah.
dragging a little. Um,
So
so,
go ahead.
I mean, great stories, great, high level leadership kinds of things to consider. There were a couple of people who came from the chimney industry who really understand it. They eat, sleep, and breathe it, and they're really good. And that was Brandy Biswell and Alan Rush. I really enjoy presentations and Brandy because she just understands customer service and what it takes to run world class customer service.
Hmm.
And of course, I think about that a lot from the systems and tools perspective. How do we, automate things that can be automated for better customer service and for customers to feel a high level of touch without having to, spend the hours to do it. Um,
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
but also just the are I
All right, so I'm gonna jump in and tell you what I thought while Carter's trying to get on. Yeah, it's kind of crazy around here because it's cold and everybody's home, kids included. So who knows if you don't have high speed internet or high speed enough, you kind of get buried. I'm gonna just hop on to what Carter said. Brandy just absolutely knocked it out of the park when it came to CSRs. And the thing I really liked about her presentation, it wasn't just about, this is what a CSR ought to do, and this is what you need to tell a CSR, and this is, da 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 on the CSR. It really gave some insight on the classes that she does, what CSRs complain about, what they're having issues with. I thought that was great. Um, I didn't write all those down, so I'm sorry that I don't have an answer for you. But I'm sure Brandy would be more than happy to share. If you can get a hold of her, she's done 500 things. I think she has 5 jobs and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, but the most impactful thing I'm going to tell you, to me, that I thought that Brandy brought, really kind of brought to the surface, is the mental health issues of frontline customer service workers. because I have read some things just recently about that, and how our culture has gotten so toxic and mean. And these people are having to deal with a really toxic, mean society right now. And man, that's got to be tough. I mean, think about that. If every call you get, that some people are nice, but you're just waiting for the shoe to drop, to have someone get on the phone that just thinks they're entitled to just slam you in the world. So I thought that was really impactful, that she brought that to the surface. And I thought it was really, really good. She also, so I'm going to mention this, suggested a couple of books that I wrote down, that I thought was really good. She uses a lot of checklists with CSRs, and there's a book, Checklist Manifesto was one of the books, and it's ATULGAWANTE is the author's name. That's ATULGAWATE. For those that would like to have some kind of checklist that you can have, this is what you do. When you come, this is how you set your stuff up. This is, all the stuff. And then the other one, which I'd never heard of this book, Power Phone Scripts, by Mike Brooks. So again, that's Power Phone Scripts by Mike Brooks. And she was talking about, she's been doing this for years and years and years. And even though she's been working as a service rep with Blues Brothers for all these years, she still uses phone scripts. And she has lists of rebuttals, all kinds of things that she uses. And she has her CSR used. So lots and lots of great information from Brandy. And hey, Allison Reynolds is here, Alberto Garcia, Chuck Roydhouse, Jessica Rosa. Y'all must all be home too. So that's what Carter's struggling with. He's in a neighborhood with a bunch of kiddos. Anyway, there you are.
I'm back. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I just talked a little bit more about Brandy, and then then Alan Rush also gave just a great presentation. He's using AI to kind of, instead of him being only one-to-one that he's had to do for the last few years, he's doing one-to-many. So you want to talk about that, Carter?
Yeah, he's using a service called Rilla that essentially takes all of Alan Rush's knowledge up here in his head about sales training, and it kind of replicates himself. So Rilla is a tool that you use out in the field. It's an app for the technicians. It's an app that they can have on their phone. They can set up their phone to record themselves while they're presenting an issue to a customer. And the audio and the video from the presentation that a tech makes to a customer when they're presenting an estimate or talking about a solution to a problem. It gets evaluated by this AI based on the knowledge that Alan has, and says this AI in this particular case did really well when talking about this and this, and but then coaching the technician when they got off message, or when they weren't doing things the way that Alan recommends doing them. So it's just a really powerful tool to replicate, basically make it so that it's just like Alan doing a ride along with your tech, but it's done by AI. So you get the advantage of working with Rush Profits without having to wait until 2026 when he's available. So
yeah.
cool.
I think that's absolutely great. It's just and we talked a little bit about AI, and I'm going to talk about what we presented there, because we brought an AI product there as well, but I'm going to wait on that.
Sure.
I also want to say Nellie Dunn Crouch is here, Chris Hess is here, and Thomas Hunkel's also here. Thanks, guys. Really do appreciate you guys being here. And if y'all have any questions whatsoever as we talk, please put it in the comments. where that's what we're here for. More than happy in any topic, not just this. We just wanted to kind of bring you some of the things that impacted us at Lindemann U. So I'm going to go outside the industry a little bit because most of us have. Well, I'm going to hold on. You didn't get to see Doug Hetch. I know you
I
were.
didn't, but talk about, yeah.
Let me tell you, if you guys have not seen or heard Doug Hetch's story, if you get an opportunity to do that down the road, if you're in the chimney industry and you get that opportunity, I highly recommend you do that. It was actually one of the best stories, crafted stories that I've seen anybody in the industry on stage. And now, those of y'all that have spoke, don't hurt me because I think he's better than anything I've ever done too. So, just saying, I'm talking to the choir here. But I thought he did an excellent job. Has a great story. And I had no idea. That's not really true. I had some idea because I'd talked to him a little bit before, but not to the extent of the challenges that he has gone through, not only to start a chimney company while he was a pilot, but just to get to be a pilot. I mean, he's, and talk about somebody who risks a lot of stuff to be able to do that. And that's really what he talked about, is, action.
Yep.
You got to take action. And so he is an action taker. So that was really good. There was a gentleman, and I'm sorry, I don't know everybody's name. I should let me pull the schedule up real good to see if I can pull it up again. But there was a gentleman from Conquer Coaching that was there the first day. And, there are things in coaching that I listen to. I always like to, want to pick tips up or whatever. And one of the things that I thought was a great tip, especially for business owners and people who are at the top of their business. In other words, you run this business. The difference between a $35 an hour task and a $1,000 an hour task. And he listed all these tasks on one side that I guarantee most of us do. We go through our own emails. We go through our own stuff. We make phone calls. It's just those kind of things that are just the rote stuff that we've always done and we keep on doing. And because, we do it. That's what we do, right? But the reality is, if we are at the top of our business, we have more like $1,000. Hold on. Brandon Vaughn. I want to make sure and get that. Brandon Vaughn is his name. So here's basically what he said. He said on the $35 an hour, you need to list all those rote tasks that you're doing that you can get somebody else to do. Here's the thing that a $1,000 an hour person should be doing. You should be implementing systems. You should be increasing your average ticket. You should be thinking about increasing your average ticket, which, by the way, another thing he says is not a week should go by that you don't have some thinking time. That is, Bill Gates does that. Mark Zuckerberg does that. There's tons of people I know that they just stop in the day and do nothing but just think. So think about that. If you're busy, and you never have time to think, then, how do you implement a system if you can't even think about it? How do you increase your average ticket if you're not able to think about it? Your close rate, improving the customer journey. These are all things that have to be thought through. What am I doing now? What can I do better? Build and foster relationships, creating a growth plan and budget, which I love the budget deal. It's like, yes, somebody else talk about budgets, please. I like budgets. Creating training videos for new employees, dialing in your messaging or your USP, your unique selling proposition, and search for business acquisitions. I thought that was interesting too. So, those are $1,000 an hour jobs. that all of us need to be doing. And if we're not doing those types of jobs, then we're really not doing.
Oh, looks like this time it was Taylor that got dropped. This is just crazy today. Totally agree, though. I mean, there's some online calculators that'll help you understand what the value of your time really is. And he's back. I was just talking about the online calculators that help you understand what the value of your time should be, or what it really needs to be, versus how you're spending your time and the tasks that you're currently doing. And most business owners are shocked to find that they have undersold themselves in terms of the number of hours that they work in their business and the kinds of tasks that they're working on. They're doing work that's like $15 to $18 an hour versus $2, $3, $5,000, $2, $3, $500 to $1,000 types of jobs. It's a consistent problem. When we start the business, we eat, sleep, and breathe it. It's our baby. Somebody else comes along, and we don't want to turn over the reins because we think we can do it better. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror as I say this. This is one of my biggest challenges, to be able to get out of my own way, to delegate effectively, and know that my time is better spent doing things that only I can do as the business owner. And it's a challenge. It really is. It was a good reminder, what Brandon had to say.
And the other, Kedma, Ough, I don't know how you say her last name.
Just
okay. Kedma O. Let me tell you, she was brilliant too, because you know how I love stories. We preach stories all the time. It's like stories, tell more stories. And one of the things, though, that she brought out that I thought was really, really good is how quickly we make snap judgments of people. We judge people usually in 3 to 5 seconds. We look at them and we can tell, oh, well, they're happy, they're sad, they're good, they're bad, they're this, they're that, they're whatever. And it's so unfair because you can't judge anybody until you hear her story. You just, there's no way. You have to stop and hear people's stories. And so in relation to your employees, this is one of the things she said, is you'll never, ever, ever get to know your employee until you take the time to listen to their stories. Who are they? Where did they come from? What kind of life have they had? What challenges have they had to overcome? These are all just things that you absolutely have to know as the leader of your company. And if you're going to hire somebody, we hire people really quickly when we think we know who they are, and then they disappoint us. How many have done that? Well, everybody, so one of the reasons that we do that is we don't stop and listen to people's stories. We don't find out who they really are. And one of the things too that I will tell you, and it's again, this 2 themes came up over and over again. Did you notice that? Rocky was one of them. How many people? Yeah, that was one of them. And then the other one that came up a lot is a quote from Maya Angelou, that people don't care, what you say. They don't care what you do.
They don't remember. Yeah, they don't remember what you say or what you do, but they always remember how you make them
feel. And so, the feel part is through people's stories, because now we're able to connect with people as human beings through authentic, transparent stories. But with that, not everybody. Here's the other thing. And I'm going to say this, and nobody there said it. This is me saying it because it comes from Brene Brown, and I believe her when it comes to personal stories. If you're somebody that is bitter, angry, mad, thinks you know everything, mad at people, doesn't love everybody, not open, all those kind of things, who in the world would trust you with their story? You know, you have to be worthy of hearing people's stories. You have to be worthy of them trusting you enough to tell their stories. So that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to finding out and really having those deep conversations with people. If you want to really know people, you have to be open and accepting to their stories. If you cannot do that, then they'll not tell you their stories because they know you won't. You're not trustworthy with it. So that's another thing that I think is really important. And those are just things that you know I picked up here and there. Um, hey Jerry, great to see you. Tanya, great having you here too. Tanya is actually a friend of mine that does marketing for an attorney here in Nashville. So I always love it when she's on. Um, so here's another thing that came up. Let me get my thing up. I see people writing. Why don't you cover that for a minute, Carter?
Well, one of the questions, well, let me just go to Tanya first. She said, I remember many, many years ago now, you, Taylor, were helping me with a refinance. It wasn't happening. I responded. Because of the way I responded, you did a shout out to your team. Lo and behold, you made it happen. You listened and knew my story. Forever grateful to you.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things because when I was doing mortgages, one of the things that people don't understand is a lot of times you can take people's stories back to the bankers, the people who are actually funding those mortgages, and let them know, hey, this is what's really going on. This is what's happened. These are the circumstances. And under those circumstances, they can go back in the history of a person and look things up and say, oh, okay, well, that makes sense, and go ahead and lend the money. You know, they're not all Scrooges, but they do have to understand. That's one of the disconnects we have in our banking system right now is used to you'd have a relationship with your bank. Now everything's online and you just do everything that way. So that's a little hard. So we touched on Brandy and we touched on Doug already on that day. So now we touched on Alan. So now I'm going to talk about Scott Muscat. Phil, there,
Real quick,
not Scott Muscat. Sorry, wrong one. Mark Maddock. We didn't get to see Scott. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? There, Tom Hunkel was asking, can you post the name of the script person? I wasn't able to get that down. It might have been one of the moments that my connection was disconnecting me, and I don't know if you talked about. There were a couple of people that talked about scripts.
Oh, are you talking about the book? Tom, are you talking about the book? I think that's because the Power Phone script.
Yeah, he says
so,
yes.
The name of the book is Power Phone Scripts, and the author is Mike Brooks, Brooks. And Brandy Biswell is the one that recommended that. So Mark Maddock was brilliant, by the way. It was really a fascinating story. I will tell you this. There are very few conferences you go there, and by the time you leave, you've cried every single day of the conference. But this is one of those conferences. It was kind of crazy a little bit. But with that said, Mark Maddock was talking about drama, you know, about something that he calls the drama triangle. He's got a book too called Plan D, Be the Disruptor. He's talking about the disruptor. He talks about the drama. But he was really advocating this pause and step back and kind of be, you know, if you're the rescuer, you need to be able to pause and step back and learn how to be the coach. You know, if you're the persecutor, and if you're a persecutor, you just can't persecute everybody. You have to persecute those people that you love. Okay, it has to be a love situation. And I've been guilty of persecuting people. It's not a love situation. It's not good. So I'll just tell you, he's right. And the victim. A victim is really a complainer. How many of you have ever complained? Anybody here ever complain? I know I could say I have. Um, but really, instead of being a victim and a complainer, we need to learn to be the creator. So those are things that are really, really important, because if you don't do those things, you're participating in the drama of your business and the drama of your family and just the drama of your life. So I thought that was really good. I did not get the book that he had written on that. I think I just missed it somewhere. So I'm hoping that I can go back and find it in Amazon. But that was a great triangle there. Um, he also talked about, we talk about the visionary and those kind of things. And he's got it broken down in additional, there's additional steps. So it's like the operator, strategist, rainmaker, visionary, tech futurist. Those things are kind of broken down. And sometimes if you're a one truck guy, you have to be all of them. Yeah. And so how difficult that is. And so it was really good. And I think the last thing that I wrote down with him is when you look at drama, there are 3 questions to ask yourself. What is the outcome you want? So if you've got technicians or your wife or your kids or grandkids coming to you with issues and problems, what is the outcome you want? That's a great, great question to ask. Second, what stands in my way? And third, who's done this before? Who's figured this out that I can either go and get a mentor with or copy or whatever? So just some really good things from those are the takeaways and the notes that I had. But Carter, what did we introduce?
Well, yeah. So we picked Lindemann University as the place to announce one of our newest products. It's called Jenny, Genni. Jenny is an AI-powered sales assistant that you use on your website, and also a content powerhouse, a content creator, so that what we do is marry up the front end of talking with customers and selling customers to get them to book an appointment, and the back end, which is creating the content that those customers who are coming to your website need to understand and know about you in order to close the deal and get them to say, yeah, this is the company I'm going to work with. So that later, when you're out there in their home and you're doing a job and you come across a $20,000, price tag on a job that needs to be done, they are less hesitant to spend that money with you because they already trust you. They've had a really good experience on your website. You showed them your depth of knowledge through the case studies and things that Jenny was able to show them. And there's this real connection between those two things that I don't think it was completely obvious to us how one service could do both of those things really well. But as we have used it and experimented with it and fine-tuned it and done our own work with the tool, it's really powerful, and it creates a tremendous amount of value for businesses that are using it. So I wish I had a way of, I can put a link real quick in the chat for this, that just to let people know where they can go if they'd like to see what Jenny would look like on their own website. Because it's really cool. It runs like a chat service, but it's AI powered, and Jenny learns your entire website in less than 10 minutes. But then it helps you create and helps the technicians in the field create really powerful content based on the jobs that they're doing. So your technicians are walking around with iPhones and iPads all day long anyway. When they're on the job, they're taking pictures and documenting for the record. But it takes them very little effort at all to pull up this app, to snap a picture of a before and after, and then annotate it just using a little microphone button that they press in the app to be able to speak into their phone or their iPad and annotate what it is that they just took a picture of, what the job is. And then Jenny takes the details from that. It looks at the picture and understands what the picture is about. It listens to the recording of the technician and assembles a compelling case study that then is available for you to review and edit before you can publish it on your blog and all of your social media channels that are connected to it. Once it's available in all of those places, Jenny has access to it as well. So the next time somebody comes and visits your website to ask questions, Jenny will actually use that content and its responses and say, why, yes, we absolutely do flashing repair. Would you like to see an example of some of our recent work that made this customer really happy? And then it shows them a 5-star review right from Google, and then shows them a gallery of images that they can click on that open up right there in the over the site, and they can see images of the entire flashing project that you just completed for one of your happy customers. It's brilliant. It really is just an amazing tool. And the fact that it's AI powered means that it only gets better with time. In the beginning, it's very basic. It's useful, but it's utilitarian. And the more content that you help work with Jenny to co-create with Jenny and publish that content, the smarter Jenny gets about your business. And it literally can become one of your best first touch salespeople on the front lines of your business to close more appointments. It really is pretty incredible. So we were happy to announce that at Lindemann, and excited to roll it out this year at all the conventions and trade shows that we'll be attending.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I look at it because I've been in sales for many, many years, and what I like about it is a very non-evasive, easy way for somebody to get pre-sold, and they're asking for it. They're asking you to get pre-sold. All Jenny does is ask them questions. Just, are you looking for this or this? It's the same thing as a salesperson. A trained salesperson does the same thing. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, are you looking for, I don't know, are you looking to paint a kitchen? Are you looking to paint a living room? Those two things are different, and they take different paints, and whatever it is, Jenny can learn that and go. And I see Tanya has asked that she's interested in all kinds of AI tools. So Tanya, if you want to email me or Carter, it's Taylor@sparkmarketer.com or Carter@sparkmarketer.com. We can send you a calendar link and then show you a demo of the tool. It'll be interesting. But also go to the website and just your work website and put that in, or you can put any website actually in that link, can't you?
Yeah, no, any domain, you just plug in the domain into the interactive tool, and it'll show you what Jenny can do for your website and for your business, just as a quick demo. And of course, what you're seeing is the most basic, rudimentary form of Jenny, because it's only spent 4 or 5 minutes learning your website and your business. But as it continues to learn, and as you continue to feed it more content, the better and better and better it gets. I've seen examples of Jenny on sites that have been running for a while now. Well, I'll just give you an idea. I mean, sites that are running Jenny are seeing a 2x to 3x improvement in the number of bookings that they're getting, the number of conversions that their website is getting, just because that chatbot is on the site. So that's pretty powerful. We've heard stories. One story from a contractor who said Jenny booked an appointment for him. The appointment was booked in the middle of the night for several days later. But I mean, it was the middle of the night. No business is open in the middle of the night to book appointments. But Jenny was there working 24/7 and was able to help this guy get an appointment booked. And that job turned out to be a 6-figure job with like a $35,000 profit margin. So, I mean, it was just because, and the guy said, I don't have time during the day to mess with trying to find somebody and call around to book an appointment. Late at night is when I had time, and I looked and I was able to book my appointment right there sitting on the couch at 2 a.m. and got done what I needed to do and went on my way. And I was thankful for the fact that somebody had that service available to me that met my needs on my timeline. About 50% of consumers right now say they'd rather book online rather than talking to a human being on the phone in order to get that done. So that gives you some idea of where things are headed and the kinds of problems that Jenny is really built to solve.
Yeah, and I like this question too, because we always have people that are like, I don't know about AI. I'm kind of afraid of AI. And I'm just not sure it's good. Aren't they supposed to take over the world and kill us all? And you get those questions. So here's what I say. It's like, look, man, I get it. There's always been fear, always. I mean, I can remember my grandfather telling us stories about how his mom and dad, when tractors came to be, they didn't like them tractors. They had their horses, and they had their plows. And it took a few years for it to like get there, but then they got the tractor, and guess what? They love those tractors because they're not breaking their backs on a plow. Well, the same thing, in aviation. I'm not ever going to fly on a plane; those things crash. I mean, there's always with technology, always with innovation. There's
And
going
I would say,
to
if you're thinking about AI in this context as a chat assistant on your website, if the experience isn't any better than like a phone tree where people are press 1 to connect to blah blah blah, then yeah, people are not going to like it, because nobody likes those phone trees and they hate those experiences. And most of them go online looking for a phone number to call a real person rather than the main number for a large business. So if that's what you're wondering, if it's like, it's really not. Jenny is so conversational and so human in its conversational tone and the way that it talks to people, the way that it answers questions and anticipates what they're saying. Its understanding of what really is being communicated is leap years beyond what a phone tree is capable of producing for a company. So it really is interactive. I would say this: the best way to evaluate any technology, in terms of its irritation quotient, is if it's making it harder for somebody to get the help or the answers that they want or the result that they want, then it's not a very good technology, is it? But if it's a technology that is helpful, gives people the answers they want, and gives them the result that they want in a way that is, pleasant, or not, they don't feel like there's speed bumps and roadblocks all the way through the experience, they really don't care if it's a robot or not. They just don't care. They just solved their problem and did it easily, and they're thankful for that. So that's been our experience, and that's where Jenny really seems to excel.
Yeah, and any of you guys, if just out of curiosity, you should go to that link and just put a domain in there and just see how it works. I think it's fascinating. Anyway, we're at 40 minutes. Man, love the participation, guys. Thanks so much for that. It's always more fun when y'all get involved with us.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? I don't even know what's going to happen. What is going to happen? Oh yeah, I need to say that this whole thing is released as a podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Podvine, and your favorite player. Next week, Carter is going to be here on his own, so we gave him an easy one. How's that?
Thanks.
You're welcome. Softball, soft pitch,
Yeah.
Tips for improving email open and click-through rates. He's a whiz at that stuff. So it really isn't a soft one. It's just one he knows a heck of a lot better than I do. So
I've done a few of them. Yeah. That'll be a great conversation. I hope you join me next week.
Yeah, I've got a client visit I got to do that day. So anyway, y'all have a wonderful week. Thanks again for being here. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, and Carter looks forward to seeing you next week.
Sounds good. Bye, everybody.
See you later. Bye bye.